We live in a time where more is the default answer. More goals, more projects. More RESPUNSIBLITIS. More OPPURTUNITIS. People wear busy like a badge, convinced that stacking on more means they're GTTING ahead. But here's the truth. If you haven't mastered the less you already have, ADDING, more doesn't move you forward. It just scatters your focus and waters down your RESULTS. CCHSING, more feels exciting. It gives you that rush of progress. But in reality, it's like building a second floor. Before the foundation is finished, it might look impressive for a while, but eventually the cracks show. And when they do, you don't just lose the new level. You risk losing everything you built before it. I've seen it happen in business. Someone gets a little traction, then immediately STARTSADDING, new PRODUCTS, new SCRVICS, new VNTURES. But none of the ORIGNALS are running smoothly yet. Now, their attention is split in 6 different DIRECTONS, and nothing gets the attention it needs to grow. Instead of building strength, they've built stress. I've seen it in personal goals too. Someone DECIDES to get healthier, so they start 5 different routines at once. They overhaul their diet, start running, join a gym, sign up for yoga, and download 3 tracking apps. A few weeks in there, OVRWHLMED. Burned out and back where they started, because they never mastered the BASICS first. The real power isn't in doing more. It's in doing less better. Mastering fewer things until they run almost effortlessly. Until the RESULTS are predictable. The HABITS automatic, the system solid. Only then does ADDING more make sense. Because now more builds on something strong, instead of piling on top of something shaky. So, I want to talk about why more without mastery is a trap. How to focus on the few things that matter most. And how mastery creates the leverage you need to expand without falling apart. Because the truth is simple. Don't chase more until you master less. More has a way of making you feel like you're winning. You add another project, another goal, another responsibility, and it gives you that little hit of excitement. You feel important, you feel ambitious. You feel like you're leveling up. But here's the trap. More doesn't automatically mean better. In fact, without mastery, more almost always means worse. When you chase more too soon, you spread yourself thin, your energy is divided. Your focus is scattered. And instead of doing a few things with excellence, you're doing a lot of things at an average level. Or worse, it's like trying to light up a room with a flashlight that's running on low batteries. You can aim it in 100 DIRCTONS, but none of them will be bright enough to see clearly. I've watched people in business fall for this. They get a little success with one product, then immediately launch 3 more. The first one running at full strength yet, but they're already off CHASING, the next shiny thing. What happens? All 4 underperform. None of them get the attention they need. And now they're stuck managing chaos instead of building momentum. I've seen it in personal growth too. Someone WNTS to improve themselves, so they start 5 HABITS at once. THEY wanna meditate, run, read journal, and learn a new language, all STARTING MUND. The first week is exciting. The second week is shaky. BY week 3. They're dropping HABITS left and right. Not because they're lazy, but because they overloaded before they learned to sustain even one. More feels productive because it creates activity. But activity isn't progress. And in most cases, more just multiples, the number of half-finished, half-mastered things in your life. It doesn't take long before you're overwhelmed, exhausted, and wondering why you're not GTTING, RESULTS in anything, even though you feel like you're constantly working. Here's the truth: mastery, REQRES space. It REQRES attention, it REQRES depth. You can't give something your best when your mind is already pulled in 5 DIRCTUNS. The deeper you go into fewer things, the more skill you build, the more systems you refine, and the more confidence you develop. And it's that foundation that makes more sustainable when the time is right. So the next time you're tempted to add something new, ask yourself, have I mastered what I already have? If the answer is no, adding more isn't going to help. It's just going to dilute what's already struggling. Sometimes the SMARTEST move, adding. It's removing, not CHASNG more but perfecting less. Mastery is a multiplier. Once you've truly mastered something, everything that comes after gets easier. Not because the new things are simpler, but because you've built skills, systems, and discipline that carry over into everything else. You've created leverage. And leverage is what allows you to do more without losing quality. Think about a craftsman. If they've mastered their tools, every project becomes smoother, faster, cleaner. They're not starting from scratch each time. They're stacking new work on top of proven skill. That's what mastery does. It turns hard work into efficient work. It allows you to accomplish in HORS what used to take days. And the more mastery you have in one area, the easier it is to transfer that confidence to another. In business, it's the same. When you've mastered one product, one service, or one core skill, you've also mastered the systems that support it. Communication, organization, decision-making, problem, solving. Those systems become a template you can use again and again. Which means when you add something new, you're not building from zero. You're building on a foundation that already works. Mastery builds confidence. And confidence changes the way you approach new challenges. Without mastery, new opportunities feel overwhelming. You're learning the basics while trying to deliver results. But when you've already mastered few things, you trust yourself. You know you can learn quickly, adapt smoothly, and deliver consistently. That confidence, arrogance, it's EARNED certainty. And here's something important. Mastery compounds. The deeper you go into one skill, the more it teaches you about others. Master great writing, and you'll communicate better everywhere. Master discipline in the gym, and you'll be more disciplined in your business. Master problem, solving in one arena, and you'll spot solutions faster in every other. That's the hidden gift of mastery. It's not confined to one area, it spreads. When you chase more without mastery, you're running without leverage. Every new thing you take on feels heavy, because you're building from the ground up each time. But when you've mastered less first, you have leverage. You've got tools, habits, and experience that make more easier, faster, and far less risky. That's why the order matters. More after mastery creates growth. More before mastery creates chaos. And if you've ever wondered why some people can add more to their life without falling apart, it's because they built leverage first. They mastered less before they chased more. The danger in CHSING, more before mastering less, is that IT splits you in too many DIRCTONS. So, you think you're making progress because you're busy. But the reality is, you're just spreading yourself thinner and thinner, until there's not enough of you to give anything. Your best, and when nothing gets your best, nothing grows the way it should. The first cost is quality. You simply can't give the same level of care, attention, and precision to 10 things as you can to 2. Corners start GTTING cut. MISTKS slip through the little DTAILS. The ONES that make a big difference get missed, and slowly, what you're producing BCOMES good enough instead of great and good enough doesn't stand out. It doesn't build trust. IT doesn't last. The second cost is progress. When you're spread thin, you can't push anything to completion as quickly. Everything takes longer because you're constantly switching focus. Instead of building momentum in one direction, you're STRTING and stopping over and over again. That start-stop pattern, KEPS, you stuck in the early stages of everything and the mastery stage of nothing. The third cost is energy. Every decision, every task, every new commitment takes mental bandwidth. And when your bandwidth is MAXCD out, you're thinking GTS cloudy. You're more reactive than proactive. You make rush choices, not thoughtful ONES. Your creativity drops, your patience shortens. You're running, but you're running on FUMES. And maybe the most dangerous cost of all, confidence. When you keep JUJLNG too much, you start dropping things. You start missing DADLNES, forgetting DTILS, or DLIVRING work that's not your best. And each time that happens, it's CHIPS, away AT how capable you feel. Soon you're questioning yourself, not because you're not capable, but because you've set yourself up to fail. By CHSING more than you could master. This is why some people are always busy, but never seem to get anywhere. It's not a lack of drive, it's not a lack of ambition. It's a lack of focus. They keep ADDING, thinking more will get them there faster, when in reality, more is just slowing them down. If you want to protect your quality, your progress, your energy, and your confidence, you have to get ruthless about what stays on your plate. If it's not mastered yet, don't add more to distract you from it. Finish strong first, build the skill. Lock in the habit, strengthen the system. Then and only then go after more. Before you can chase mastery, you have to know exactly what's worth mastering. Not everything you're doing DSERVES to be your main focus. Some things are just noise. Some things are just HABITS you've OUTGROWN. And some things are DISTRACTONS, disguised as OPPORTUNITES. If you try to master everything, you'll end up mastering nothing. You gotta start by taking inventory. Look at everything currently on your plate, projects. COMMITES, HABITS, RESPONSIBLITS, don't judge them yet. Just get them all out where you can see them. Because until you see the full list, it's easy to underestimate just how much you're trying to juggle. And then, you just ask yourself a simple question for each one. If I mastered this, would it have a major impact on my future? Not a minor bump, not a little improvement. Major impact if the answer is yes. It stays on the list if the answer is no. It either GATS, delegated DELAYED, or dropped. That's how you start filtering what DESERVES mastery from what's just keeping you busy. And you never know, the next skill could be what breaks through the bottleneck. Sometimes the thing worth mastering first isn't the most exciting. It's the one that's holding everything else back. If one weak skill, broken system, or bad habit is slowing you everywhere, fix that first, master it. And suddenly, everything else gets easier. That's the leverage point. Be honest about your distractions. Opportunities will come, disguised as urgent or too good to pass up. But if they pull focus away from mastering the essentials, they're not opportunities. They're detours. The fastest way to lose momentum is to keep trading your focus for shiny new things. And here's the thing, what deserves mastery now might not deserve mastery later. Your focus will shift as you grow. That's normal. The key is to be intentional about it. Don't drift into new things just because they showed up. Decide. Choose what gets your energy, and then give it enough time, effort, and repetition to make it second nature. Before you move on, mastery starts with clarity. You can't get good at what you haven't chosen. So choose on purpose. Focus like your future depends on it. Because it does, and when you finally add more, it will be built on a foundation strong enough to carry it. Once you've chosen what deserves mastery, the real challenge begins protecting it. Because the moment you commit to focusing deeply on a few things, the world will start throwing more at you. New opportunities, new ideas, new requests, new compressions. And if you're not careful, those things will quietly pull your attention away from the very priorities you said mattered most. We live in a culture that celebrates ADDING. People respect the person who's doing the most. JUDGLING the most, CHSING the most. Saying no feels like you're letting someone down. Passing on an opportunity feels like you're falling behind. But here's the truth. Every yes you give to something new is a no to something you've already committed to. And if you say yes too often, your mastery starts slipping away before it's even built. Protecting your focus means learning to filter. Not everything that's urgent is important. Not everything that's interesting is worth your attention right now. You have to ask yourself, does this serve what I'm mastering right now? If the answer is no, it's not for now. Maybe later, but not now. Because now belongs to mastery. Comparison will try to pull you off course too. You'll see someone else ADDING more, doing more LAUNCHING more, and you'll feel like you should be doing the same. But you don't know what their foundation looks like. You don't know if their more is built on mastery or chaos. And even if it's built on mastery, their direction isn't your direction. You can't protect your focus if you're constantly measuring it against someone else's. You also have to guard against the small leaks of attention. Every time you check something real quick, every time you take on just a little extra, every time you dabble with something outside your core, those are WATHDRAWALS from your mastery account. One or two might not matter, but over time they add up. And the thing about mastery is that it demands compounding focus. You can't keep cashing out pieces of your attention and expect your results to keep growing. Protecting mastery means playing the long game. It means trusting that what you're working on now is worth FINISHING before you start stacking more on top of it. It means being okay with looking slower in the short term, so you can be unstoppable in the long term. So hold the line, say no more often than you say yes. Remind yourself that every distraction, no matter how exciting, comes with a cost. And remember, the more fiercely you protect your focus now, the more freedom you will have more later, without losing what you've built. More the goal better is. And better doesn't come from piling on new things before the current ONES are mastered. If you want more in the future, you've got to earn it by going deeper now. Mastery is the foundation. Without it, more just creates noise, chaos, and shallow RSULTS. With it, more BCOMES, a multiplier. And all of this stuff comes back to one truth. You can't build strength by constantly switching WHTS. You build it by lifting the same ONES with focus until they feel light. Then and only then do you add more. That's how you grow without breaking. That's how you expand without crumbling. So slow down, choose what matters most. Commit to it, completely cut the DISTRACTONS. Protect your focus, push each chosen thing to the point where it's no longer a challenge, where it runs almost automatically. DELIVRNG, RESULTS without constant struggle. That's mastery. And mastery gives you the freedom to take on more without losing control. Remember, more isn't bad, but more too soon will rob you of depth, quality, and long-term success. Your future self will thank you for the discipline you show now, for the patience to finish before you expand, for building something strong, enough to carry everything you will add later. Don't chase more until you master less, because when less is mastered, more becomes effortless.